Hi, everybody. The results of another double week are in the screen here, and we have four teams that extended their winning records. Of course, Real Madrid winning both games versus Bayern and Valencia. Fenerbahce winning versus Partizan at home, and again at home versus Bayern. Barcelona in the big game versus Olympiacos, and then at home again versus Algiris. And finally, Panathinaikos winning versus Efes and Monaco in a very convincing way. And here we talked many times about Real Madrid being the best in Europe. We also mentioned many times Virtus, that is one of the teams that actually had a bad double week. But here we really like the way they play. I have to mention that Panathinaikos seems to be rolling and playing really beautiful basketball, and they are very convincing since the start of the year. So we have another team then that has been very strong on standings. On the other hand, I mentioned Bayer. They did lose both of their games. It was a bad week for them. But mainly, I think Virtus losing two games was a big upset. But both of them, they were tough games and they were away. So potentially we will see them bouncing back now. But they're missing Sengelia. That could be a big, yeah, say.
Oh, I wanted to add that another team, because you said Panathinaikos is rolling, which we see also the results are showing that, and also another team that it's gaining a momentum is Fenerbahce. They're gaining a momentum. They changed coach. Saras is the coach, but you see they are winning at home, which is very crucial. In the marathon of Euroleague, at least win the home games, which is, let's say, the most crucial W to get, because away you can lose. Upset can happen if you play away, but at home they seem to be strong, and now they're gaining a momentum. That's why in the standings you see them climbing as well. That's another
Yeah, and
pressure
as
for
you said,
Virtus, as you said.
correct. And as you said, the home court advantage is huge. So another team with a great home court advantage. They actually had, if I remember correct, 5-0 when Itulis, the previous coach, was replaced by Saras. And since then, I believe they're 5-1 at home, unless I'm mistaken. So one of the strongest home court advantages in the Euroleague. And finally, another team that lost two games was Olympiacos. So the trip to Spain, they were playing in Barcelona and in Vitoria and Baskonia, wasn't quite good. So they are now dropped to the. Sorry, they are now tying
Seventh.
at the seventh position. Yeah. So the mid-table that we will keep looking at the start of the year is starting to formatting a little bit at the top. So as you mentioned, Fener is doing quite well and establishing themselves towards the fifth and the sixth spots. But then we have here four teams all tying at 11-10. And then, of course, Valencia is just one loss away, one win away, apologies, and Armani very close, just two wins away. And, they are missing quite a lot of players. So if these players started to come back, we may see them actually having a good push on the second half of the year for at least getting into these four spots for the play-in tournament.
And
And
let me add, because now you mentioned playing, I want to refer to playing tournament. You see, as it is right now, four top teams in Euroleague, they will battle for the play-in. So you don't see some, let's say, potentially one of the weak teams to be up there. You see Olympiacos, Monaco, Partizan. So, top teams, Basconia, they changed coach, but they are there. So, even the matchups
I,
in the play-in
yeah,
are very, very interesting to watch.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, but they are very fluid. So I think up to at least Cervena Zvezda, that is a 9 weeks. So anything that within 2 wins, probably will say is quite close.
Hmm.
I th- and mainly what I wanted to add is that Pasconia is the other team you mentioned many times. Virtus being the very positive team that nobody was expecting actually to be there. Maybe at best a playing tournament. The other one I think is Pasconia, losing players like Thompson. You wouldn't think, and having new coach as you mentioned, you wouldn't think that they would establish themselves again up there. But they have again Ivanovic,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, yeah,
um,
because
you know he
yeah,
knows the ways.
he definitely he knows that he's a EuroLeague veteran coach. I mean, but as you said, Basconia, I'm not gonna say that they did a total rebuild, but they some key players left, as you said, Thompson, Giedraitis, after many years, he left from the team. So also Dalton Holmes, he was injured last year, but the games he played, he gave from the 3 point shot, he gave score to the team. So, but Dusko is Dusko. He is doing his magic, and the fact that he combines all these players, everyone talent individually, and creates this, outcome on the court. It has Basconia at number 10. And let me also add about the home victors that we mentioned for Fenerbahce. For example, if you see now Valencia, they dropped to the 11th spot. And of course, they played against Real Madrid in Madrid. And if you see Real Madrid is 10-0 at home, so you expect that defeat. But versus Algiers at home, you have to try harder to get the W. That's what I mean. It's very crucial to keep the W's at your home court. Then we see that
Yeah,
in the standings.
yeah, for sure. And Real now is the only team that haven't lost at home, but also I want to say Alba before was the only team without a win away. But as we predicted on our previous show, we gave
Yeah.
Gonzalez as a coach. He delivered big, and Alba made their first away win. Now, I don't know if that remains like that until the end of the EuroLeague. Hopefully not, but we got that one. I give credit where it's due. Um, so let's move to that with the 22 round fixtures, and I think we have at least two very nice games, right?
We have, yes, at least two very nice, and I will say two, let's say, classic games, I will say. So we have Anadolu Efes versus Barcelona. That's the first game of round 22. It is a must-win game for Anadolu Efes if they want to keep winning. So also climbing in the standings. It's still not sure, but maybe Will Clyburn will be back as well because Anadolu Efes is one of the teams that they have a lot of injured players. So this injury bug hit the team, but now they're starting to get back to the roster. And also we have on round two we have Monaco versus Real Madrid. It will be um, classic one in Monaco. Mike James. I believe Mike James will try to do I don't know how many points, but after the game in Panathinaikos home court, which He did not have, the classic scoring games. I think he ended up with 11 missed shots, but I have to give credit to the defense, Panathinaikos defense. Um, so now versus Real Madrid, uh, Real Madrid will not have Tavares. He's injured, so that's a big blow. Protecting the paint. So it's a game to watch, honestly.
When you
Uh,
said James, I thought you meant James versus Campazzo. So I could just advertise it like that, James versus Campazzo. Probably the two of the most exciting players, both point guards in the league.
and also two, not potentially, but they are two MVP candidates for EuroLeague.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely
yeah.
both of them.
Now,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's a big conversation, but I think it's the first year that I believe Mike James is actually, if he continues like that, he's
mhm,
actually gonna get.
yeah,
I don't think he was robbed any. I believe he wasn't potentially number one, always on the contenders. But this year, in my opinion, if I had a rank, he's number one. My rank until now, Mike James, he's been amazing.
I agree. And for me, but that's each one has different criteria, of course. When we're debating about MVP trophies or other awards, for me, if you see Real Madrid, they have, I mean, one of the best rosters in the history of EuroLeague, honestly. So Kambatsa is doing amazing things. Yes, who can forget the game versus Fenerbahce, for example? In Turkey, he was amazing. I think he ended up with 9 2-point shots. He had 100% in 2-point shots. But then you have James. James is giving Monaco the boost. He is the motor of the whole team. If James goes out, then the team is losing the main force. So to me, I agree with you. James is slightly, he has, if he continues like this, slightly he has the edge for the MVP award.
Yeah. And also, since you said about the motor, actually Lloyd is returning. So the best, with the Havo Kobo out for internal reasons. I don't know until when. They say perhaps indefinite for now. Um, but Lloyd is so important right now without Ocombo there. So that's an important return for Monaco.
Yeah, because they need this extra help at guard at this moment.
Yeah.
Um, but also we have other two games. As I said, classic games. We have Olympiacos versus Maccabi, two veteran teams in EuroLeague. Um, Again, must win game for Olympiacos after a bad double run week with two defeats. And also then we have Panathinaikos versus Partizan. To me, the atmosphere will be amazing. For this game, I think is sold out. All the tickets are sold. It's again Lesor versus his former team. But to me, is a game to watch. Um, Panathinaikos has a lot of injured players now. Balcerowski is the latest player who is not playing and he's out. But Zeliko is also back. Atoaka. I believe it will be a unique game. I will say it like this.
And then moving into the coaches, I think I will start with
Mhm.
Virtus bouncing back. They need to bounce back. So the main missing, as we said earlier, Stengelia, but they have the components and the way they share the ball. They should find ways to cover for this loss. And if this is a time for them to recover for the last double week, perhaps that's the right place at their very good home court advantage, and versus the right opponent as well playing away. So that's our first pick.
Mhm. Then also we have coach Jaskevicius from Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce is playing at Zalgiris, so it's, let's say, home return for Saras. Um, it's Fenerbahce needs to win even without Hayes Davis. He will be out for a month. Um, and they seem very concentrated as a team. I mean, right now, each player knows his role, knows what to do when they step on the court. Um, if Scotty Wilbekin is on fire, he's on fire. You cannot stop him, really. Um, but also we see other players, for example, Pierre Dechampierre, stepped up even without Hayes Davis. He stepped up and he gave a big boost to the team to get a W versus Bayern. Um, the next coach we have is Coach Ataman from Panathinaikos. As I said, it's a big game. Partizan is coming maybe from the biggest comeback in Euroleague. For this year, it is the biggest comeback versus Maccabi. But Panathinaikos at home, they're playing. I don't know if the crowd is giving the boost, but they're playing. Their defense is actually frozen the opponent. They don't know what to do. Simply as that. So they seem very focused on their tasks, on what to do, and that's why we believe Ataman and Panathinaikos um, will get a W, maybe.
And then I have another very risky um, deposition here. So Anadolu Efes is playing at home versus Barca, and they are really desperate for a win. The latest news say that Barcelona will be missing La Provitola. That
He's
is
out
also
for the
one of the
round.
ends, yeah, of this team. Larkin is also a contender for the MVP. He's close to maybe one of his top years, to the 2020 year. So I think FS at home, they must. This is a must game for them. So it is a tough one, but it's only 5 credits for the coach. So if you're searching for something, low value, with that also is a must for the team, perhaps that's a solution.
Um, Let me add to this. I know when Bill and I, were talking about the coach selections for this round is honestly an enigma because either you see too many choices, but most of them are risky choices, as Bill said. So another coach who is low value but potentially high reward is Pablo Lasso from Bayern, but they're playing the German derby. It's Alba Berlin versus Bayern Munich, so it's very open game. Can go either way because it's a derby. Um, but that's another coach that we discussed with Bill.
Yeah, yeah. Bayer, they have the quality, but of course in Berlin could be a tough game.
Yeah.
Um, and with this, we're going to switch to our teams then. So I'm starting with AlleyOopDunks. For coach, we have selected Luca Banchi this time. We mentioned earlier that playing at home, and they need to bounce back. So 5.9 credits only is a quite low credit selection. Um, then we have Milutinov coming into our team for Pradilla. So as you can see, we have a duo at the center position. We also thought about bringing back Lesort. He's quite expensive, so with Mustafa Fall being injured and absent, and Milutinov having a good game last time out. You can see plus 31 with 14 rebounds and 12 points, 2 assists, very all-around game, and 3 blocks in just 25 minutes. Um, Seems like a good solution, and we are actually giving him the captain um, rule for the first round.
Let let
We
me
also,
add let me add something about Milutinov, because when we chose Milutinov, one of the parameters, as you saw now that Bill showed the list, Milutinov doesn't foul, the other players. I think Olympiacos is playing defense that they try to protect, Milutinov in a way. So that's how you avoid, as fantasy players, the minus points. So
yeah,
when selecting players, also keep an eye on the on that category, um, because as you see, in the last games, fouls made, it's 0-0-0-0, and the last game is
yeah,
versus Asfel on the 16th round with 2 fouls for Milutinov. So that's in that
yeah, it's
way
amazing.
you don't get minus. Yes, it's amazing,
You can
honestly.
see the whole year is like 36 minutes to falls, 28-0. It's very, very well defended and
Mhm.
protected by
Exactly.
his team.
Hmm.
Yeah. And also, I guess that's wise from himself, not doing any silly fouls.
Hmm.
Um,
True.
so yeah, that's a very good point there. So you don't have that. You don't have them subtracting from your fantasy points.
Hmm.
Yeah, cool. So then a second change for us is Francisco in for Lee. Francisco has been in a good form lately. Is in the German derby. As you can see from
18.
round 18, he's consistent. Even before, if we look at it on 16, he had 21 points and 26 fantasy um, PIR with Monaco. And then the last four, he's on double digit. And lastly, versus Fener, actually, you mentioned Wilbekin before. These two players, it was like a fantastic game. They were just having a show between each other with 3 pointers on each way. So Francisco had 21 points with 5 assists and 2 steals and only 2 turnovers, only six missed shots in just 25 minutes. Um,
Let me add now. I don't remember the game. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it's on the round 15 versus FS at home when we had, you know, a case of Pablo Lasso saying something, Francisco did something different,
oh yeah,
on
yeah.
the court, and they had, let's say, strange interaction for a moment. It's not a big thing, but after that game, I believe it's that game. But after that game,
I don't
you see
remember if
different.
that game.
That's what I don't remember. It is definitely a home
Yeah,
game, but I don't remember
I
if it's versus FS.
I don't believe. I think he had a good game. He was probably the top scorer. Could be with Monaco. I don't remember.
Maybe,
Um,
but
but it's true that he's been really consistent after that.
yeah, yes, this interaction happened. It's not a big, didn't become a big thing, internally in the team, or didn't affect Francisco or the team. But you see, after that incident, even if it's versus Monaco, then he had a bad game versus Valencia. But after that, he just stepped up. His game went another level,
Yeah,
So that's why you see these numbers from Francisco, who is by the way a EuroLeague rookie. Last year he didn't play in
yeah.
EuroLeague, so it's a EuroLeague. It's
You're
his
right.
rookie year. Yeah.
And also at the opening of the EuroLeague was versus uh, Alba, and he had 17 points, so 22 PIR. Let's hope he keeps that way, but definitely Bayern will need a scorer in a big derby. Uh, Finally, we had to get out Sengelia, so our pillar of James Sengelia had to break due to the injury. Sengelia, I think, will be out for around 10 days, right?
Yes,
Um,
10 days.
so we have to give him also potentially a little bit to see if he's
Mhm.
influenced or impacted at all when he's back into his gameplay. Um, so we had to get in Wetzel that um, he's been very decent, honestly, since around 18. On both double weeks, he had double-digit results on PIR. He's scoring as well, and he's grabbing some rebounds. And he's having a clear role player. You can see around 20 plus minutes. If you can see consistently from round 14, he's playing more than 20 minutes up to the last game that he played 19. So he has a specific role player coming from the bench. Um, Finally, the rest is pretty much the same. We have for the first round Sadegers. He should be able to give points, grabbing rebounds, scoring some points, and doing the all-around thing that he always does for Baskonia. He's been into a poor form in terms of fantasy the last double week, but perhaps it's a good chance for him to come back to his usual high reward. He
Uh,
had last
mhm.
time home 26.4 points versus Cervena Zvezda.
Let me add, if you open again the list, I
Mm-hmm.
for Sadekarskis, I believe the poor form, if you see, it's about not grabbing the rebounds. So in the last two
Yeah,
games, he just grabbed 2 rebounds. In
yeah,
which, if you see the other games, he has minimum six. That's like 6 rebounds or more. So by reducing the rebounds, that's why you see the fantasy points also going down.
yeah.
Just going to point out
Correct.
that because
Very correct.
it's a key area for this year for Sadekers is grabbing rebounds.
Yeah. So he had less minutes also this double round week, so just 22 minutes. We see if that's a trend or not. I believe not. I believe he's a key player. So potentially we'll see him back to his usual time and also grabbing more rebounds. And as you mentioned, if he had just 3, 4 rebounds more, it would be um, around 17, 18 here. So we'll see about him. Of course, for the second round, we have for the second turn. Sorry, we have James Middle mainly waiting, and then we're remaining with Marin Kingsley, and Anka for now. So that's this our team. Um, Hopefully, we gain some good momentum, and we can try to fix further the team on the next round.
Mhm.
Should
That's true.
move then to the deep value team.
Yes, let's move to the deep value team. As you see, the first change is we had Coach Grimau, but now we take the risk and we select Chan from FS. Again, as Bill said, low value, just 5 credits. So we had some credits to spend uh, for the players. So then we brought Bolomboy, as you see, instead of Dunston. Bolomboy had a good last round versus Olympia Milano. He had 19.8 fantasy points with 14 points, 6 rebounds. Again, another player who's grabbing rebounds, and also he gets the playing time, as you see, 34 minutes. So, despite Gillespie joining the team, Bolomboy is the main guy at the center position uh, for Crvena Zvezda. Then we kept the majority of the players. As you see, we kept Kumaje, for example, who is having a good games. The last 3 games, he has 12 or more. fantasy points. Um, and also then we kept Moneke, of course. He is one of the top forward um, this this season. Um, I mean, he had some, as you see, versus, for example, Barcelona, he had 70 fantasy points with 9 points, 4 rebounds. But you see that he's bouncing back and he's having monster games like 13.7 rebounds versus Olympiacos, 3 assists, 1 steal. So he's impacting the game in many areas, not just scoring or rebounds. Um, then also Luvavu Barrow, we kept him versus Virtus. Um, and I believe Nando De Colo is not back yet for Asphalt, so he has to keep up the scoring for the team. Um, then, of course, Larkin, he's our captain for round one, for turn one. He's our captain. We expect a big game versus Barcelona. As you see, yes, he did not have a good game versus Virtus. Maybe it's from fatigue because he had to play 4 games in 2 weeks. The first game, the opening game, he had 16 points, 12 assists, and 26 fantasy points. Amazing game, double double from Shane Larkin. But we expect that he will bounce back in this round versus Barcelona. Um, then we had Pander, Kevin Pander, but we were a bit afraid because Panathinaikos playing good defense at home. So we thought of bringing Scotty Wilbekin to this team. As Bill said, Francisco and Wilbekin are similar type of players. They if they score, they keep rolling on the game. So that's why we brought Scotty Wilbekin. And then the rest we kept the same. Campazzo, we kept Campazzo. We have James in the first team. In this team, we have Campazzo, so we will see who wins on their on their battle. And then the rest of the team are, as we say, the fillers. Schneider from Alba Berlin, Giedraitis from Žalgiris, and Diaz from Basconia. You never know. For example, last round Diaz had 13.2 fantasy points, so you never know how it will go. But these are the fillers for this team.
Yeah, tell us what you think and how are your teams formatting. What's your picks, and we will also get our picks per position and per budget as per usual in our X account, the Twitter account. So subscribe and like our video, and see you there. And have a great Euroleague round 22.
See you guys and enjoy the games.